Well, at least it's a little bit better than Madam Web. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Today's video, I'm going to be giving you guys a review of Kraven the Hunter, the latest and supposedly last movie in the Sony Spider-Verse that doesn't include Spider-Man. Can't believe that's been a thing, but supposedly it's going away, and thank God, because wow, this is quite the thud to go out on, if I'm being real honest with you guys. Yeah, I mean, Kraven the Hunter, like, he's a cool character and everything in the Marvel comics. I grew up watching him on the Spider-Man animated series. Like, it's an interesting character, but is it a character that needs his own movie? Not really. And after seeing this movie, it's a definite no, because this is one of the most uninteresting comic book movies I've ever seen in my life. I don't know how a movie that prides itself on, hey, it's rated R, it's violent, it's gory, like, we're going to be giving you guys a lot of action, and yet it was so boring. The screening I went to last night, oh my gosh, it was so I had to fight myself to stay awake during this movie. I give credit where credit's due. There's a couple of small things here and there in the movie that somewhat work, but other than that, everything here is just a mess. This is a big mess, and the best way to describe it other than a mess is lazy. Everything here is lazy, lazily written, lazily shot, lazily directed, lazily acted, with the exception of Aaron Taylor Johnson and Russell Crowe. Them two, I'll give a little bit of credit to. They're trying to do something, but everybody else in this cast is absolutely terrible. Couldn't care less about any of the characters in this movie. I really just wanted it to get to the next part, or get to something. There's a lot of meandering in this movie. There's a lot of this movie that it just, hey, we're doing this, we're going over here, we're doing this thing. Could you do something interesting? Like, I don't really care about you and your brother and your dad and your relationship that is very uninteresting. That might actually be the most interesting part of the movie, though, which is a shame because it's really not that interesting. The villain here, absolutely terrible. This is proof that we do not need a live-action version of the Rhino, or if we ever do get it again, it doesn't need to be anything like this, because this is one of the worst villains I've ever seen in a comic book movie. And by the time they reveal what he looks like at the end, I had already given up hope, and it looked even worse than what I was assuming it was going to look like. So there's that. I don't get it. Like, this whole Sony-verse and everything, you know, you had the Venom movies, which, granted, I haven't seen that newest one, but the other two, not a big fan. I really thought they were both terrible. Morbius, absolutely terrible. And then Madam Web is easily the worst of the bunch, for sure. But Kraven is right down there with all of them. And there's no, you know, maybe the first Venom or the second one is the top movie, but everything else is at the bottom of the barrel in this franchise, quote unquote. It'll be interesting to see what Sony does moving forward, but clearly they're getting out of this well, and that's probably good for them because they need to focus on something else, because this is not cutting it. I really don't know what else I can say about this movie. Like I said, I mean, it's bad from start to finish. The effects look terrible. There's a 25 to 30 minute chunk of this movie where it's basically just Kraven begins, and oh, hey, he's a teenager, and this is how he gets his power, and blah, blah, blah. Don't really care. I don't need an origin story about this guy. Like, you know, I'm somewhat familiar with him. I know most general audiences probably aren't, so they need a little bit of the origin. But you could have done it in like a small montage or something. We didn't need 30 minutes as him as a kid to, you know, oh, we got to set all this up and do this thing and do that, and hey, their dad's really scary. No, I don't need it. Get it out of this movie. Get this movie out of here. The movie's terrible. I don't recommend seeing it if you couldn't tell by most of this review. And I'm sorry, this movie just kind of made me a little mad. You know, I was hoping at the very least, like Madam Web, I'll give a slight bit of credit to, because that movie is terrible, but I was slightly entertained by how terrible it was. This movie is just terrible. It's not good in any way, shape, or form, with, like I said, a few small exceptions with some of the cast, and there may have been one or two scenes here and there that I was like, okay, they're doing something. But outside of that, it's all just lazy. And that's the key word for today. Lazy. This movie is lazy. Get it the hell out of here. I don't need it in my life anymore. That's about it for me, guys. If you have the chance to see Kraven the Hunter, please let me know what you thought about it in the comments below. Be sure to subscribe to the channel for more reviews, rankings, all that kind of good stuff. I'll leave all my links down below on where you can follow me and check out more of my reviews. And until next time, I'll catch you guys later.